Hi, I'm Troy Harrison, the Sales Navigator, and I'm here with some thoughts about why the division between sales and service is hurting your company. Remember to subscribe to see all my new videos. I was in a meeting recently with a company that was having what they called a handoff problem. Their sales team would close deals, then toss them over the wall to the service team, who would promptly fumble the relationship because they didn't understand what had been promised or why the customer bought in the first place. Sound familiar? Here's what really got me. This company had spent months reorganizing their departments, creating new processes, and building elaborate handoff procedures. They were treating the symptoms while completely missing the disease. The real problem? They were thinking about sales and service as completely separate functions when, in reality, there's far more overlap than most people realize. And more importantly, their customers don't give a damn about their internal org chart. Let's talk about this false division. Walk into most companies and you'll find sales and service living in different worlds. Sales sits over here, service sits over there, and never the twain shall meet. Salespeople think service folks don't understand business development. Service people think sales folks make promises they can't keep. Both sides are probably right. But here's what's crazy. We've created this artificial division in our own minds, then acted like it's some law of nature. Let me break down what we typically think sales does. Prospecting and building relationships, usually at the decision maker level. Diagnosing customer needs and issues, solving those needs and issues, proposing solutions and talking money, closing the sale, and ongoing relationship building and upselling or cross-selling. Now, here's what we typically think service does. Product or service delivery, establishing and building relationships, usually at the operational level, solving problems and addressing customer complaints, and potentially upselling and cross-selling. Look at those lists for a minute. Really look at them. See the overlap? Both functions build relationships. Both solve problems. Both potentially upsell and cross-sell. The main differences are timing and the level of contact within the customer organization. That's not two completely different jobs. That's one customer experience that we've artificially chopped into pieces. Now, here's the thing that should keep every manager awake at night. While sales and service might be separate and distinct in your mind, they're usually not distinct in your customer's mind. When a customer calls your company, they don't care if they're talking to sales or service. They care about getting their problem solved by someone who understands their business and can help them succeed. When your service person can't answer a question about pricing or contract terms, the customer doesn't think, oh, that's not their department. They think, these people don't know what they're doing. When your salesperson promises something that service can't deliver, the customer doesn't blame the handoff process. They blame your company. Your customer sees one company, one relationship, one experience. The fact that you've divided responsibilities based on your internal convenience is your problem, not theirs. I've seen this division cost companies in ways they don't even realize. First, there's the obvious stuff. Missed upsell opportunities, frustrated customers, and relationships that die during handoffs. Service people who could be identifying expansion opportunities don't, because that's sales' job. Salespeople who could be preventing churn by staying involved post-sale don't, because that's service's job. But the hidden costs are even worse. You're essentially training your people to think in silos. You're rewarding them for staying in their lanes instead of thinking about the total customer experience. You're creating a culture where passing the buck is standard operating procedure. And here's the kicker. Your competition might not be making the same mistake. While you're fumbling handoffs, they're providing seamless experiences that make you look amateur by comparison. So, what do good managers actually do? The best managers I know understand that the Venn diagram of sales and service isn't a circle, but there's way more intersection than most people think. And they manage accordingly. They train their salespeople on service delivery, not because salespeople need to become service technicians, but because they need to understand what they're promising and how it gets delivered. They train their service people on business development, not because service people need to become closers, but because they need to recognize opportunities and understand how to have business-level conversations. They create compensation plans that reward collaboration instead of territorial behavior. Service people get credit for identifying upsell opportunities. Salespeople get credit for customer retention metrics. Most importantly, they train both groups to think like business consultants instead of order takers or problem fixers. When you really think about it, the core skills of sales and service are remarkably similar. Both require the ability to listen, really listen, to what customers are saying and what they're not saying. Both require problem-solving skills. Salespeople diagnose business problems and propose solutions. Service people diagnose operational problems and fix them. Both require relationship-building skills. The conversation might be different, but the fundamentals are the same. Both require the ability to communicate value. Salespeople communicate the value of making a purchase. Service people communicate the value of the ongoing relationship. The main difference isn't capability, it's context and timing. So here's what I've seen work. Instead of thinking about sales teams and service teams, start thinking about customer teams. Create integrated teams where sales and service people work together on the same accounts. Let them sit together, plan together, and succeed or fail together. Have your service people participate in initial sales calls. Have your salespeople participate in implementation meetings. Cross-train ruthlessly. Most importantly, measure and reward the things that matter to customers: total relationship value, customer satisfaction, retention, and growth, instead of the things that matter to your org chart. Here's the bottom line. Your customers don't care about your internal divisions. They care about results. They want to work with people who understand their business, can solve their problems, and help them succeed. The companies that figure this out, that blur the lines between sales and service and create seamless customer experiences, are going to win. The companies that cling to artificial divisions and continue fumbling handoffs are going to lose customers to competitors who get it. So here's my challenge. Stop thinking about sales and service as separate functions. Start thinking about them as different phases of the same customer relationship. Train your people accordingly. Measure what matters. And watch what happens when your customers start experiencing your company as one unified, competent team instead of a collection of separate departments. Trust me, your customers will notice the difference. And so will your bottom line. Once again, I'm Troy Harrison, the Sales Navigator. And if this video has been helpful, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, like it, share it, drop me a comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.